Alrighty, y'all, welcome to Ellis Mowers. We are doing a Husqvarna today, or as Bruce Pender calls them, Husqvarna. I'm just messing with you, Bruce. You are the king of lawnmower repair. This is a LTH 130. It seems like it's got like a nice little European styling to the hood almost. I don't know. What do y'all think? For anybody who doesn't know, Husqvarna is also through changes and whatnot, are also the same people that make Craftsman lawnmowers up until Lowe's took the Craftsman brand over into 2018, I think. And then they're basically almost all MTD. But this is what they call AYP brand. It's what all the Craftsman lawnmowers up until about 2011 were made by. And then there was a mix, and then also Husqvarna also, and there's some other lesser known brands out there, but you're looking at a Craftsman in disguise, or should you say genuine Craftsman? I don't know. Anyways, I'll stop talking, let's get to it. 13 horsepower Kohler Command pressure lube with the oil filter on it. Big gas tank on it too. It's I guess the 2.5 gallon tank roughly. 42-inch deck, which is in really good shape. You can see this, it looks like it's been refreshed at some point. I'm not even going to have to touch the deck, which is nice, or it just doesn't have a lot of hours on it, either one. Background of where I got it from: I got it in a lot of a bunch of push mowers, and also got a tiller. This riding mower specifically cost me $50 in the lot, so I do not have a lot of money into it, and I don't think it's going to take a lot to get fixed. We'll have to see. That's one of the push mowers that I got from the lot. I sold most of the push mowers within 48 hours, so I've been moving, so to speak. Really the downer on this one is the seat. The seat is just completely trashed on it. I have another seat that I can probably put on it. I will see if I venture to take one off of another riding mower and put it on this one, or just like tape it up at the top. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with it yet. I might even buy a seat cover for it, or I might just let it sit like it is and just be like, seat looks rough, everything else is good on it. Because really this mower is probably not worth more than about $400 as it is. This is one of the lower trim level Husqvarnas. It does, however, have an electric PTO, and it has the hydrostatic transmission on it, which is really nice. All of which are good, good things to have. What do they call their hydrostatics? Oh, it's just called hydrostatic drive. Okay. I think the belts are all right on it. The blades, pretty good on them too. They've lost a little edge, but they're not too bad. All the spindles are free. I was told that this lawnmower just needs a battery and a starter solenoid, so we'll see. I know the Kohlers are pretty bad about leaking out of the carburetor. I ain't even checked the oil on it. Let me check the oil on it and we'll see what it looks like. My guess is that it's probably filled with a little bit of gas. Yeah, it's filled with a little bit of gas, but it's not terrible. Not terrible by any means. I might just purge out whatever's in the cylinder to see if I can just get it started, because I can feel it. I can get it to a certain point, and then it doesn't want to go anymore, almost like it's hydro-locked. So, fuel line is okay also. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's the ignition switch. It looks like he was trying to troubleshoot getting it started at one point. We'll just pop the ignition switch back into place. I've got a key for it. Keys are universal if you don't even have a key for these things as it is. Like I said, we'll just pop the ignition switch back into place like so, and I'll put the little washer on it. I'm going to tighten it up with a 15/16. what I'm going to do, it had a good battery in it, believe it or not. I just had to charge it up. I'm going to check it before I put it back into the mower here. I'm going to put the battery back in it. And granted we get enough voltage, we'll see if it starts, as long as the starter solenoid's good. I can check the terminals down there by the solenoid. Considering that they probably haven't been messed with, I'd say we're probably okay when it comes to that. Let's see. There's one terminal. Why do I not feel the other terminal? That's weird. Oh, because it's down a little lower. They're tight. So it's very possible the solenoid's out. I'll get a battery on it. We'll see if we can start it up. Alright, let me show you what I got here. I got a fouled plug, or maybe a fouled plug, but the plug's pretty dirty. I'll have to clean that. I have 12.5 volts at the battery, and so I'm going to set y'all down on the tripod here after I put the park brake down, and we'll see if this thing will crank for us. Gotta get a key. Alright, let's see what we got. That's a good sign. It's cranking over. Real quick, I'll do it off camera. I'm going to clean the plug out. I'm going to actually... I'm going to clean the plug out still, but the plug is getting spark still. And so I'm not seeing anything come out from the plug hole, so it means there's probably not too much gas in it, and the oil didn't look terrible. So I'm going to try and start it after I clean the plug, and we'll come back. So this thing's been set up for a little bit. Doesn't look like too long, but I was going to show you some roaches and stuff on it. It's just, nasty. But that'll fix, when we get it washed, that'll fix it. There's a much cleaner plug. So I'm going to put the plug back in. See if this thing's got enough strength to turn it over. If not, we'll put a new battery in it, or I might just hook the jumper up to it. I'm not sure. As long as it's not going to hydrolock on me, I think we'll be able to get this thing started. Get it in the plug hole there. There we go. Alright. There. Was having a little bit too much fun trying to do that. Sorry. Let's see if it'll crank. Gas in it smells a little old, but it doesn't. It's not terrible. And it's got a little bit in there. I might try and put a little bit more. Let's see what we can do here. No. The engine does have a fuel pump on it. It also has one of them shut-off valves on it. Let me see if I can wake it up with some carb cleaner. Well, tell you what we can do. We can see if the fuel pump's pumping. I'll take this little gas line off real quick. Ooh, this thing's brittle. We'll put a new one on there, obviously. Thing about this one is, I'm not sure, but I might be able to, if the fuel pump's bad here, be able to convert it to a gravity fed, considering where the tank is, and I might put a smaller tank on it. Let's see if I'm getting fuel primed. No. All right, now let me see if I'm getting gas down to the fuel pump. If I'm getting gas down to the fuel pump, then the pump's probably the problem. If I'm not, then that's actually, I'd like to not see gas, but I'm sure that I will. Not seeing much. It's old gas as it is. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some new gas in it, give it a little bit more gas, and then I'm going to see if the pump will pump it up for us. Alrighty, y'all. So yeah, the fuel pump's out on it. I have an idea. Don't think I'm crazy, but let me tell you what I'm thinking, because I can kind of show you too. So this has got the big gas tank on it, right? And I have a couple of smaller gas tanks, and let me show you what I'm thinking about doing. Thinking about converting it into a gravity fed. Kind of like, I think, ooh, spider web, sorry, I'll be back here in a little bit. Kind of like this, you see this? Kind of like this Kohler here. So I could turn it into a gravity fed, put a smaller tank on it, so that the pickup is higher and that it'll be able to walk its way through the rest of the way down into the carburetor, because that's actually a good sign and a bad sign in one way or another. Somewhere buried under this, I have a good smaller gas tank that I could put on. Again, it's a 13 horse Kohler. It's still a smaller gas tank ain't gonna hurt it in the least. So I think that's the route I'm gonna take, because that's gonna be the easiest and the quickest route, most likely, to get this thing fixed. And I really do think that I can get all this done, and I don't think it's gonna take too much to get it to run after that. So yeah, that's my plan, and we'll start the process of switching the gas tank and stuff over once I source the gas tank out of my pile in there. And like I said, we're just going to switch it over and to make it into a gravity fed one. I think we're going to have good luck with it. Alrighty, so this is a pretty easy job to do, especially if you're not going to save the fuel line, which I am not, because this fuel line is very, very dry rotted. When you first look at it, it looks pretty good, but then you look into it more and it's really dry rotted. So I'm just going to replace the whole fuel line. I don't think that was the issue, because there's a tight seal to the fuel pump. Again, I've got another gas tank that we're going to put on it. So I've just got a 3/8. What I'm going to do first is cut the fuel line. We're going to cut the fuel line right there, just make life easier for everybody. Gas tank is empty. I emptied. I tried new gas and it didn't work, so I emptied the gas out of the tank too. And we're just going to trash that. Next, I'm just going to take the 3/8. I'm going to take a 3/8 on an impact here and just take these two bolts off. This has got a little shroud on it. We'll just take that off as well. We'll put the shroud back on it. And then we're just going to take the tank out. Hopefully it'll come out. This is the big tank. Okay. So we might have to take off this piece right here in order to get it out, because it's a big old tank on this thing. Unless I think I can get it. Let's see. Yeah, I'll have to take these off, which are 1/2 inch bolts. Take this panel off, which is about 4 bolts, and that'll get us out. Because I can't get it out otherwise, I don't think, unless I can push it up this way. Oh, I can. Here we go. There we go. Never mind. So we have a good gas tank for a future project. We'll take this old gas line out too. So next, we'll just put the old gas tank in, or the smaller gas tank in, and just install some fuel line and run it up through to the to the carburetor, and we should be good. So let me prep for that, and then we'll put it all back together. And real quick, let me show you the difference between the two tanks. They both have the same mounting points and stuff on them, but as you can see, this one is much larger than this one. This one will work perfectly fine on the mower. I rarely even see this type of gas tank on one of these, so it's kind of interesting to see. However, this will only work for a fuel pump setup because the pickup is too low for a gravity feed. You see there's a couple of inches difference there, and that couple of inches is going to make all the difference. Excuse me, when I mount it onto the mower here, like so. There we go. And you see, I don't know if I can show you how well I can show you, but you see the pickup is right here, up high here, and then it'll actually gravity feed down to the carburetor right here, as opposed to running all up through the fuel pump and all that good stuff. So it should, in theory, run like that. Perfectly fine, actually, because it's going to have a good gravity feed going down to it. So let me go ahead and mount everything up. I can't really show it to you on video very well, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it off camera. But you see the nipple on the bottom of the tank. Run it through this hole, down through this hole, and then over on the back side of the engine over to the hole right here for the carburetor. Pretty simple. I'll show you the finished product when it's done. I want to do it off camera real quick. I'll show you the finished product and then we'll see if we can get this thing started. Alright y'all, let me show you what I did here. Rain's picking up outside. But what I did, and it looks like it's holding, which is good, unless the carburetor's bad. Shut off switch, fuel filter, run the fuel line behind here, through the hole, up around through that hole, into the nipple of the gas tank. So now that we've got a gravity feed setup going, hopefully this will work. And I'm going to put you on the tripod and see if we can get this thing started. I don't think the carburetor's clogged on it. Hopefully it's not. But we'll see. I do have a feeling it'll probably smoke up the garage. If it does start, that is. So, let's give it a shot. Doesn't want to go. And it could be the solenoid. The solenoid on the bottom of the bowl is bad too. So. Just for kicks, I'll spray a little carb cleaner in it and see if that wakes it up. No. Okay. Interesting. So now we're getting fuel down to it. As far as I'm concerned, at least, I can check it. I got fuel in the filter. So that means I'm getting fuel down to it. Because the filter's there and then the carb's lower than that. So what I think is happening is I think that this solenoid's bad. So I'm going to take a wrench and take this solenoid off and see if we can fix that. I don't like the way they have everything zip tied on it. I gotta take the zip tie off, and then we'll probably just unplug it, so to speak, snip it off. Alright, so let me show you how to take one of these off. I don't have the best angle because my tripod only gets so low. But what I'm going to do, I've already taken, so there's 2 carb bolts right here for the intake. You have to take this one off, and I had to take the ground wire off. Now I don't really think I have to take the positive wire off because I got enough play in it. And then we're going to get a wrench, and I'm going to take that off. I don't know what size that is. I think it may be a might be a 13/16 maybe. Could be a 3/4, could be an 11/16. I can't know for sure. So 3/4. Yeah, 3/4 works. We're just going to take this off real quick. Some old gas is going to come out, obviously. It is going to bind up your wires, but hopefully it won't bind them up too bad so you can get it off. Again, I'm not too concerned about the wires anyways, because I think I'm going to cut this thing off. This little plunger. This is the whole jet inside it, isn't it? Wow, okay. This might be a little different. This is actually different than what I'm used to. So this is the jet. And I guess there's a plunger inside the jet there? Huh. Well, let's see if it plunges. No, because there's not getting any ground. Tell you what, let me hook the ground back up to it, and then we'll see if we can get it to work. Might have to spray some lubricant down there, I'm not sure. Let's see, so I got a ground on it now. We turn it on. I don't see any action happening. I think I should see some action happening right here so it'll allow stuff into the jet. I don't see any of that. So let me take this jet off with a screwdriver and I'll let you know what I can find. Looks like this is not one of those easy ones that I can bypass. But I have one. Now that won't work because the jet's tied into it. Darn. So I've got to figure out a way to get this thing working. I might spray a little lubricant in it and cycle the switch just to see what happens with it. Because I know it's getting power. Because the ground sparked whenever I took it off. So let me see what I got here. I'm going to take the jet off of this and I'll see what I can do with it. Alright, let me show you what I have done. I sprayed some lubricant down there. I took the main jet out just with a screwdriver. The main jet looks really good. The main jet's clear. I don't know if y'all can see a hole through it. There you can, right there. Looks very clear. Even the gas in the carburetor seemed like it was decent. And I just worked some carb cleaner and lubricant down into the and pressed it down with the little rod, and we're working now. So let me screw it back on. I'm going to wind it back. Oop. So what I'm going to do, I have the switch off. I'm going to take off that 10 mil again for the ground. But obviously it's not going to work without the ground. So I'm not going to fry it or anything. Take that off. What I'm going to do is twist it back a few times. 4, maybe about 6 or 7. That way whenever I put it back on, it will cooperate and look good. So I'm just putting it back on now. There we go. It's got one little kink, but I'm not concerned about that. I'll put this back on. There's my grease gun. Working in tight quarters here, not by choice, not by, you know, circumstance. Got a whole big old garage here. Why do I just do this? Who knows? We'll put this back in. And tighten it up. Take the 3/4 wrench. Tighten this up. Don't tighten it too much. Just tighten it good enough. Make sure you don't have any gas come out of it. We'll open up the fuel valve. I'm just checking. Looks pretty clear. I'll tell you what. If I did everything right and it works, it should crank. Smoky garage, it does run. Now, oh, I have interference with the fuel line. That's what's causing the issue. Fuel line wasn't letting the choke come back all the way. Might have to reroute that. Or pull it a little bit. Or put a zip tie. I might put a zip tie right there. I think the throttle is stuck on it too. It was like it was choking all the time, which is not what it needs to be doing. Sorry, I'm waiting on a potential buyer. It should have been here a while back. That's why I keep looking. All right, let's see what we got. I know exactly what I forgot to do, and you're going to laugh at me. I forgot to put the jet back in. Let me put the jet back in, and we'll fix this. Oh my gosh, I am so dumb. Alright, silly me. The jet's now back in it. Well, we learned one thing. A Kohler will run without a jet in it. Oh man. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to coil it back up about 7 times. 7 or 8 times the positive wire. I've got the negative wire off anyways, the ground wire, and then we'll screw it back in, and that should do it. Choke issues fixed too. So let me do that real quick, and we'll do another start here for it here in just a minute. All right, silly me, put the jet back in now. Let me crank this thing up, and hopefully it's running a lot better now. think she's been running a while. I'll tell you what. I also don't have a lot of gas in it. Let's see the essentials. Will it drive? Will it drive and will it cut? There we go. Oh yeah. Thing idles down beautifully though. Beautifully. It idles down beautifully. Part of me, I got some slick shoes and wet ground. It's not good. Part of me thinks that the gravity fed is having a little trouble since I don't have a lot of gas in the tank. I'm probably going to fill this thing up to about half a tank, give this thing a nice little mow when it's obviously not wet outside. But we learned the essentials are good. We learned that it drives. We learned that it cuts. And we learned that it runs. And so yeah, that's how you do a gravity-fed conversion on one of these Kohlers. One of the things I know about Kohlers is that they are known, the Commands are great engines, but the carburetors are known for leaking seats and needles. And it's also known for, like, if you get below a quarter of a tank, sometimes they don't want to run right. So I think that's a combination of two issues that I got going on here. But we're in really, really good shape. Really good shape. I'm very surprised. I'm not going to have to put any belts on this thing. I'm not going to have to do a lot of the maintenance work that is required of a lot of these lawnmowers when I get them. What I will have to do, I will have to at least put, I think I'm going to have to put a left rear tire tube in, and I think I'm going to have to put a right front. The left front's good, the right rear looks good. I'm not positive on it. And then we're going to give this thing a good wash. So I'll end part 1 here. Part 2, we'll just give this thing a wash and do any other maintenance items to it. So I think that's it. I'll tell you what, because I only got to wash it, and yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll do part 2. I'm going to put a little side chute on this thing, which I should have one back here, or more. I have 2 actually, which is great. Put that side chute on. We'll put the side chute on. We'll put tire tubes in, and we'll wash it off. And make sure that it's not surging anymore, and we'll give you all a nice little, it'll be a short part 2, but it'll be a nice little finish to it. So thank y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next video, part 2 of this Husqvarna. We'll do small maintenance items on it, just to kind of, just so I've got that in the books for things that we do to these. Like grease the front end. We're going to check the blades and such. I think the blades are good. Blades are nice and sharp. I don't think I'm even going to touch the blades, and everything's tight on the deck. So I think I'm going to leave the deck as is. We'll adjust the deck a little bit, put some tire tubes in it, and call it a day with this one. I might put another seat on it. It just depends on what I decide to do and how nice the mower turns out, to be honest with you. So we'll catch you on part 2 of the Husqvarna. You can follow me at Ellis Mowers 09 on Instagram and Facebook for any real-time updates of what I am working on. And I appreciate y'all watching.